guys, this is Kira Eaton at Dinosaur State Park. As you probably know, our museum center is closed right now, but our nature trails are still open. They're a great way to stay healthy and get some exercise while still practicing social distancing. So we have a lot of cool fossils here at Dinosaur State Park, and some that even aren't currently on display at the museum. And I'm going to be talking about two of those today. These fossils are from the Devonian period, which is also known as the Age of Fishes. It gets its name because fishes diversified a lot during the time, which means basically they became more numerous and developed a lot more evolutionary tactics in order to be successful in their environment. So during this time in the Devonian, there were two big continents, one in the southern hemisphere, one in the northern hemisphere. So in between and around those continents, there were a lot of shallow marine seas, and so as you can imagine, many fishes were able to live there. So despite its name, the oceans weren't the only important thing happening during this time. Plants were continuing to diversify from the Silurian period beforehand on land, and animals started to go on land for the first time. And some of you probably have heard of Tiktaalik, and this is the individual that is famous for evolving from water to land for the first time. So the first fossil that we're going to talk about is a fish. This is called Bothriolepis, which is a big word. The type of fish is a placoderm, which is another big word, but it basically just means armored fish. As you can see, there's these little dot-looking parts right here, and that's the armor. So it had a lot of armor on the front of the fish, and it used that for protection against predators. This fish could live in salt or fresh water, and it probably fed at the bottom of the ocean or the river, and it would eat plants and other smaller creatures. Some of you may have heard of Dunkleosteus. Dunkleosteus is another type of placoderm or armored fish, and many museums have specimens of Dunkleosteus on display. Dunkleosteus was very big, much bigger than Bothriolepis, and it was basically the top predator of the oceans during this time. So as I said, the oceans were marine, shallow, so there was a lot of reef building happening. So this fossil is what we call Heliophyllum, and it's a horn coral. So those of you familiar with corals during the modern day tend to think of them probably as reef builders, a lot of them stuffed together, forming a reef, and what we call colony rather than solitary corals, which is what this one is. So today, of course, our reefs are in danger due to climate change, rising temperatures affecting lots of different things within the ocean. So as I said, these corals were not colony corals. They're actually solitary, which means at the bottom of the ocean, they're going to sit themselves right in the mud attached to the bottom of the ocean, and then they would point this part in the direction of the current, and that's how they would get nutrients and stay alive. So there's lots of interesting marine fossils that we find from the Devonian period. And this is actually pretty big for the size of a horned coral. Most of them that we find are kind of this small, some are even smaller. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully we'll continue this series and talk about a lot of the more cool fossils that we have here at the museum. Stay safe during this time. Thanks for watching.